What is going on, everybody, and welcome to Game Time, your weekly video game and sports-centric podcast. Today is episode 9, and it's your boy, SnowBikeMike. Of course, I am joined with my co-host, Tom Bock. What's going on, Tom Bock? How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, and I'm sad that it's taken us this long to get from number 8 to number 9. We can't let this happen anymore, man. We got to get back in the rhythm. Starting right now.
It's tough to find the rhythm after so many fun conventions. Me and Tom got to meet up in RTX Austin. We had so much fun down there. Tom's going to PAX next week. I mean, we're just two traveling dudes, and we have finally found the time to get together and talk about video games, the things we love, and hopefully the things you guys love. Tom, are you ready to kick this thing off?
Man, I am so ready. We've had now, how long it's been? A couple of months. Like you said, we've done Kind of Funny Prom, which, dude, it was amazing time with all the best friends, and you hosting that was phenomenally fun. RTX was fun. I'm sad you can't come up to PAX West, but man, we'll be pouring one out for you for sure.
There you go. I like that. Well, let's start off with topic number 1. Going to be a simple one. Let's catch up. What have we been playing? Tom, why don't you kick me off? What games have you been playing?
So, man, I go through this weird thing, I think, every single summer where, you kind of... I complain all the time about my game backlog, right? Because it seems like every year it just gets bigger and bigger. And there's so many things that I want to play, and you end up playing half of them and stuff like that. And so I kind of made a list at the beginning of the summer, and there was one game that I kept coming up for me that I really, really wanted to see through to the end. And actually, in the Bethesda conference, I think they showed a piece of it or kind of teasing some future stuff, and it's The Evil Within 2. And that game has always kind of been on my radar. I don't know I think you said you didn't play the first one, or did you play a little bit of it?
No, I never played the first one. It got kind of the so-so reviews. They said the combat mechanics weren't fluid and perfect, and I think that's what turned me off, because I do like that Resident Evil, that scary horror setting, and I'm into that, but the gameplay's got to be smooth for me.
Yeah, it's 50-50, man. I did play the first game. I finished the first game. It's twisted. I will say that about the developers that made the game. It's not scary. It's not like they do some jump scares and stuff like that, but it's just twisted, man. There's a lot of, I let my kids watch most games. I mean, there's some, obviously, if they're super crazy, that I don't let them watch, but that's one I definitely don't let them watch, man, because there is some really kind of gory, weird, kind of vibe to it. But the second one, again, I know the game's been out a year, so it's not like people are tuning into this podcast to get like sort of the brand new scoop on it. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth playing. It's a really long game. It's kind of the first game was more linear. This one's sort of open world. Again, the combat is not fluid. I mean, I think that's a great sort of the people that have criticized it for that or written that it is not a fluid combat game. But I will tell you, it does remind me of sort of like, and by the way, I'm so excited for like Resident Evil 2 and some of those games. It reminds me of that in that it's real survival horror. Just getting a bullet or 2 bullets or 3 bullets make you feel like I got a chance now, right? So they did a really good job with some of the truly... survivability elements of it. You feel like you're on the inch of death. You never have enough ammo. You're always faced with something. You're like, really? How am I going to get through this? So from that standpoint, it's fun. I think I'm probably, I'm probably like 20 hours into it. I put that much time into it. It's a long ass game, man. At least the way I play it, it's long. So
wow, that's incredible, Tom.
I know.
That's some good gameplay time then. That's good.
It is. I'm digging it, and I'm gonna see that to the end. And then other than that, man, I've just been kind of banging through the usual summer stuff, playing the same battle royale stuff, enjoying the hell out of that still. Which we can talk about some other time, like how long is that gonna last? But yeah, man, it's really just been that one game, and I've just been sort of embedded in playing that, man. What about you?
That's cool, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, really quick on that survival aspect, those games usually make or break me. Like you said, you get down to those final 2 bullets, and like you got the one enemy that takes 5 bullets, but you got 2. And sometimes like those just break me to the point where I give up on a game if I can't find the X amount of bullets I need, or I feel like I'm trapped in a corner and I really can't get out of it like that. And I commend you for putting in 20 plus hours on that. I've watched some streams of the game, and it definitely looks like that twisted horror like you talked about, so that's pretty cool. And of course, shout out to you and the family. I hope your daughter becomes the next ninja and goes pro in the Fortnite Battle Royale so she can take care of all of us, retire
That would
early.
be really, really cool. Man, she's getting good at it too. Like, I'm tweeting some of her wins out. She's as good as I am, probably, which is not saying much, but she's getting good.
I love that. Well, for me on my side, I've been playing some of the new hot games right now. Of course, we got to start off with Dead Cells. Dead Cells, Tom, is phenomenal. I got to say, I am addicted to this game, and it's one of those, it's just as punishing as Dead Souls to me, where you get to one point, and if you die, unlike Dead Cells, or Dark Souls, my apologies, where it might kick you back to the bonfire. If you die in Dead Cells, you're going back to the beginning of the whole entire game. And it is hard to fathom that. It's hard to think that. And it's fun, it's cool, and it's exciting, and it gets real sweaty, it gets real intense, real quick on you. So I'm averaging probably about, it takes me 24 to 28 minutes to get to the first boss. That's 4 levels in. And then I've gotten to the 6th level, the clock tower, where unfortunately I met my demise against an elite enemy, which I'm very depressed and upset about. But it's been a great stream game. It's been a whole lot of fun, and I highly recommend Dead Cells on your Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, no matter where you game. This game is worth picking up.
So before we move past, I really want to kind of quiz you on this game because it's really fascinating. So it's procedurally generated, correct? So when you're doing the same level, it's never the same.
Every single level is totally different. It is the still same background and aesthetic with the same enemies, but the level layout is different, like you said. So it is procedurally generated that way, yes.
Okay, and are you finding that there's times that the procedural generation makes it like way harder or way easier, or is it pretty much the same every time? And you just,
I haven't felt anything with like the level design feels too hard. It's like the moment where you find too many enemies and you get trapped in a corner, or you've drank in all your health flasks. I only have 2 right now. I'm almost upgraded to the 3rd health flask, and it's taken me quite some time just to get 3 right now, so it's pretty tough. I love finding there's like hidden parchment papers that you level up with, we'll call it, and you can actually boost your health bar. And so like I just start chugging anything that has the most health for it, and I get up to like 2,000 plus health, and I go fight the boss, and I feel pretty confident.
Oh, that's crazy.
But man, they'll work you, and it's super fun. The enemy designs are all pretty cool. It's that 2D type of aesthetic. Yeah. It's not 3D. It's all 2D. Got a little platforming, which I'm so bad at platforming. I feel like I get to the right platform and I'm feeling perfect, and then I just nudge the controller the wrong way, and all of a sudden I'm in some spikes dying real quick. It's heartbreaking to me. I just don't have the touch like I used to.
Yeah, it's hard. So, but the whole premise is you get to keep all of your stuff, right? So the point of running the same level over and over is you get a little stronger every time that you go through it?
Yes, you keep everything that you have as you go through the levels. The moment you die, you restart with nothing. So you start with a little bit of gold in your pocket, you get the basic sword, and then there's different upgrades that you spend the dead cells on that you get from killing people. So like you might get level 3 upgraded health flask like I have. Maybe you get a random starter bow, which I have. So instead of starting out with the basic bow at the beginning of every game, it's just a random bow. It could be good, could be bad, but at least you have something better than the starting bow. But it's fun to have to restart the whole game. You're already frustrated, so sometimes you go through level 1 and you're just running as fast as you can. You're like, I got these guys, they're nobody to me, and you get a little cocky, and then somebody might have to put you in your place, or you run through the level with no problem. But it's pretty cool. Like once you beat that first boss, you really start feeling the gist of it. You feel good about yourself. You got traps and you got special abilities you can use, so you always want to use those. And man, it's addicting, Tom. I talking about it makes me want to play it right now.
So I've got it downloaded, and I've read a little bit about it, and it seems like it's totally up my alley as far as the kind of game. But so here's the other question I had. So when you start the whole game over, let's say you've played it for however many hours till you get your guy completely, powered up where you can take on a boss and win. Do you have to run the whole game through to beat it, like in one sitting, or do you save it as you go, or how do?
No saves. You have to play the whole game through in one sitting. Is right. So
way.
every time you die, every time you complete a level, you go to this guy similar to Dark Souls. It's like leveling up your Estus flask, right?
Okay.
You spend these dead cells on different upgrades, whether they be the health, whether they be the random bow, whether it be weapon blueprints that you find, and you level these up. And so if you complete the whole bar, say like you get the random starter bow upgrade, right? That is there every single time you die, no matter what. So that's a constant upgrade that will stay with you forever. So if you die 28 minutes in, when you restart, you're back to basic weapon 0 stuff, but you might have the level 2 upgraded health flask. You might have the random starter bow,
gotcha.
or maybe you already, you've filled out the blueprint for a special sword or something. So at least you can upgrade from there and have those right off the bat. But no matter what, you start back at zeros essentially. And it's pretty wild to think about. And I mean, like I said, when you first start it takes 24 to 28 minutes to get to the first boss. It took me 38 minutes once I really got in the zone to get to the 6th level. I've never even seen anything past the 6th level.
Crazy.
And I've heard people have beat it, but I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what that would look like.
Does it ever get frustrating though? I mean, I guess the procedural generation of it makes it a little bit more palatable to do it, but does it ever get like, oh man, I'm just grinding through something that I've beaten 100 times and I really don't want to do it again?
That's where I feel right now. I think it's the gameplay that captures me, because right now where I feel I've probably played it 10 times with 28 minutes apiece, right? Dying at that first boss or getting a little bit past it. And those first 4 levels suck to me now.
Yeah.
It's like I hate these enemies. I hate the look of this, but I know I got to run through it. And like I said, but that gameplay is just so much fun. It feels rewarding to fall down on a guy, beat him down with your sword, or shoot him with a bow and arrow. Like, the gameplay feels rewarding, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I got to get past these guys right now. I'm so bored of seeing these dudes all the time.
Right.
And so that gets where, like, you die, and now you just want to speed run it, right? You just start running through things. And I take it slow because I want to find all the upgrades, kill every enemy I can to get the extra dead cells. But I see some people, if they die, they just start running.
Yeah.
They don't even care. They'll just beat that level. They'll move on to the next one with all minimal gear because they know they can destroy all these guys if they wanted to.
It's a lot like people get that way with Dark Souls after a while, right? They learn the whole thing. They run past everybody. And in fact, I did that like towards the end of beating the big, Gwyn fight. Just run past everybody to get to him, to get to the boss. And I get it. Man, I got to check it out. Like, I've been really excited by this game, and everybody that I see streaming, it looks like they're having a ball with it. But what a weird premise, man. The developers really went out on a limb with that idea, right? That's a really strange idea. Everybody's done procedurally generated games that have been fun. They've had the permadeath ones where I forget, what was the one where you're sort of like the miner and you're a new person every time, right? I forget, there was one I played on Vita that was like that. I forget the name of it. But I've never seen this combination of stuff before, right? Where it's generated and you got to start from the beginning every time. That's pretty crazy.
It's so good that I've now bought it twice. I have it on my Xbox and on my Switch. It's so much fun. And there's like a little piece of me after playing Fortnite. Like, I wish I had the cross-play situation where, like, no matter what, if I played on my Switch, like, I'd have all my Xbox upgrades. And then every time I played on the Switch, it'd go over to my Xbox and I'd just keep running back and forth. Feeling good. Yeah. But it's well worth it. I take it to Thursday night karaoke with me. I've been streaming it nonstop. It's so much fun. And you can play it in those bite-sized chunks. Like I said, you die at 28 minutes, you're like, okay, I can either go back and do it all over again, or I can just skip this and move on to the next game. So it's fun. Yeah. It's a great time.
I will tell you, too, there's another game before you go on that's really similar to that I don't know if you've played before, that was on Vita, called Salt and Sanctuary, that was actually on PS4 as well.
I have it on my Nintendo Switch right now. Okay. And when we flew away from you in Austin, I played Salt and Sanctuary and loved it.
Do you like it? Because I love that game, and that's a game I've put a lot of hours into. Are you digging it?
I'm digging it, and I'm really happy that I waited. I truly wanted it on my PS4 and my Nintendo, or on my Vita, and I was very close to buying it. I think I just kind of got pushed away at that moment, but like once they updated it, this was only a couple weeks ago. We're talking RTX. It came out like the day we were flying out there, and I bought a whole bunch of games, and I saw Salt and Sanctuary, and I was like, guess what? I'm buying this, and I'm loving it.
Dude, the first time I played that game, I literally was convinced I was doing it wrong because it's so difficult, right? Like the first boss, to run up to the first boss on your own without, it's like one insta kill, right? One hit kills on all those things. That game is really fun though. That game has a ton of that game Hollow Knight, which I've been playing a ton of. they have all these really obscure, like, I almost wonder when they develop a game like that, some of the upgrades and different things that you find, they're so difficult to find. But if you didn't find them, the game would be so different without them that I always wonder how they do that, how developers think of, are they going to find this or are they not going to find it? Because if they don't, you're pretty screwed. But if you do, it's sort of like you got real lucky to find it. Like there's stuff in Hollow Knight that I figure out that I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea how to get into that room or whatever. And the upgrade that's in there is so important to you winning that it's like a cool. And Dark Souls is the same way, right? There's a lot of stuff in Dark Souls that if you just missed, that would really make the game a different game. So, man, I'm excited to check out Dead Cells. That is 100% on my list. I hope I get to it here before. How long before Spider-Man? 2 weeks? I guess I better get going on that.
Video games are incredible. The other couple games I've been playing, of course, I've jumped into Overcooked 2. Overcooked 2 is another fun, great game with your friends. I can't play it alone. You can play alone. It's a little too difficult for me to switch to one guy, have him doing one mundane task, switch back. Shout out to Joey Noel of Kinda Funny. I know she plays a lot of it alone, and she kicks butt on it. Not something I can do. I actually don't find enjoyment from playing alone.
Really?
Because it's all about just yelling at your friends. Yeah. That couch co-op. Now they've added on online multiplayer, so we don't even have to be together. We can just start up a party. And I'll tell you, if that game with your friends doesn't make you want to chain smoke cigarettes and just start boozing afterwards, I don't know what will, because that game is so much fun, and it's always so hectic. It's a great time. Overcooked 2 is incredible.
Did you play the first one at all?
Oh, yeah.
So give me a little, because I downloaded, that's the 3 games I've downloaded, Dead Cells being that one, Overcooked, and the new Walking Dead, which I'm really excited to, because that's one of my favorite Telltale games. But the contrast the first Overcooked to the second from your perspective. I heard it was wackier, zanier, harder.
I think it's all of that. I feel like it's truly the exact same as Overcooked 1, just with the small upgrades. There's like a throw button now that you can actually throw things across the diner too.
Okay.
I think the big one is, for me, the online multiplayer. I mean, I knew it was Overcooked 2. I knew we were going to get added new features. I knew we were going to get a prettier landscape, but we were going to get that same core concept. Do these 3 tasks, create the plates, deliver the plates, go continue onwards, But I think what made Overcooked 2 for me so special is the online multiplayer, because I can't always get 4 people over at my house to play Overcooked 1, and that's what made or break for me this time.
Yeah, dude, I got to tell you, so some of the best and worst times I've had gaming have been with Overcooked 1 with my family. My wife's not a gamer at all, and we always try to find these games like Jackbox and different things that the whole family can do, right? Because the kids are really into gaming, and they're always trying to find something. So we all tried that one. Man, we literally wanted to choke each other out by the end of it, right? Because it is so difficult to do that game. You got to be in the same headspace with the person. You're either you're just there to screw around, and everybody's okay with screwing around, or if you're there to try to win or do well, and someone becomes the raccoon in the wheelchair and sprays you with, freaking flame retardant stuff, so that when you burn by the time we put that down, my wife was like, "I'm never playing a video game with you ever again." That was not fun.
Oh, yeah, that's how it goes. Make or break, and it's so much fun. So I love Overcooked 2. I love Dead Cells. The other 2 games I've been playing, thanks to Xbox Game Pass, of course, I've been just diving in to that catalog. We'll talk about that later on, but I've also got an invite for the beta. I was able to sign up quick enough for their Xbox iOS Games Pass app. And so it's similar to your Xbox or PlayStation app, where you actually see all 100 plus video games on here, and I can just download them at will, and it will go straight to my console. And the app is really great. I like the app a lot. But I've been playing Doom, which I know I never played Doom back in the day, so I'm glad that I'm finally catching up with it. And then Hitman. And Hitman is incredible. Both these games, so well worth it. And for the $9 price tag a month to get them and so many other more, it's so awesome.
Dude, how great a game is Doom? I mean, that game caught me so off guard when I played it. Having, as everyone knows, I'm old, and so I remember those initial games when they came out, and I remember playing, on a rickety old PC and playing those games. And man, that game, I'll never forget the first night I played it, and it was one of the early levels that's a really vertical level. I forget the name of it, where you're hopping and jumping all the way to the top of like a big, sort of like a big smokestack kind of thing. And I remember just being absolutely floored by the level design. That game has some of the legit best level design of any game ever. I mean, to me it does. Like I love that game, and I can't wait to see what. Have you seen the trailer for Doom Eternal? Have you watched that yet, or watched any part of it?
Watched the Doom Eternal trailer, and I think that's kind of got my blood flowing for Doom. And I got to say, like you said, Doom is so much fun. It is incredible. It's gorgeous. It's very red with the Mars dirty aspect. But, I mean, when you go up and punish one of those enemies with the super kill move and you just melee them to death, you got the hardcore music just bouncing off your headphones. It's like, man, this game is a lot of fun. And it's fast and furious with the different guns. I love getting a new gun and just testing it out. You know what I mean? It's
so good.
It's A+. It's really good.
The thing that's so good, I mean, and I don't know how other shooters could ever do this the way they do it, but there's so many ways to play that game because of the guns being so unique and so different, whether you upgraded them, didn't upgrade them, right? The primary attack, the alternate attack. There's a million ways to play that game, which is really mind-boggling to me how they made a game that had all that balance to it. Because I don't know, have you finished it or where are you?
No, I'm still early on. I'm probably 3 hours in at the most.
Oh boy, yeah.
But I am enjoying every single moment of it. We've played it plenty of times on stream, and it's a lot of fun. It's great.
Dude, keep going, because not only does it get incrementally better, which is pretty amazing for a game like that. I mean, some of the later levels to me are some of the best ones, but dude, the end of the game is so difficult and so hectic, but in the best possible way. Like you're really kitted out by that point. You've upgraded so many different things. There's so much going on that when you win a fight of, when there's like 50 things going on, man, it's one of the most satisfying experiences ever. That game, I mean, it really is a spectacular game. Good for you for getting into it. I never realized you didn't play that one. That was like one of my
I love it. Never played it. It feels
ago.
like Wolfenstein to me, of like, this is the game that we know has such immense history, and now they're bringing it up to the new era of game consoles, and all of these new players get to check them out, and they're so good that once you get a little bite of it, you are all in for these two games for sure.
It's like Quake. Yeah, for sure.
And then Hitman. Hitman has been a game, I know Hitman quite well, and here's my story with Hitman. I would buy a Hitman game no matter which one it was, Xbox 360, Xbox, all the way back in the day, and I would play the first two levels, and I'm more of a run-and-gun type dude. Yeah. I would play the first two levels and just feel like, man, I hate going stealth mode. I hate having to hide and do all this. And so I felt like that during this Hitman, thanks to Xbox Games Pass for giving it to me for free. But, man, I just don't think I can play Hitman. It's beautiful, it's fun, but I'm just not a stealthy guy. That's my issue with them.
Yeah, it's hard, and the depth of those games is so immense. Seeing all I don't know if you ever took the time to sort of look through all the different challenges, ways to kill people. I mean, it's insane. Like the amount of things that they packed into one level is kind of unfathomable almost, right? There's 100 different ways to kill the target. 95 of which you and I would never think of and never see and never think of. And this is a really weird comparison, but there's another game that I love and I hate for the same problem, because I get the same thing with Hitman. You and I almost see it the same way. I always buy them. I always play the first couple levels, but I always resort to the very easy way of playing it. I don't ever use all the tools around me. The other game that I do that with is Metal Gear, and I have a really hard time with Metal Gear in the sense that I love it, but I always end up in a very consistent play mode. Like I don't use, especially Metal Gear Solid 5, there was a million different ways you could approach every situation, which some people love, and I do too, but I would always end up doing the same thing over and over, right? I would do like a silent sniper from a distance. I would sneak behind people and choke them out. But I would use, I'm not creative enough, I guess, in some of those games to get outside of the normal way of playing it. And so it just gets really repetitive for me in a really strange way, which I know is weird to say about a game like Metal Gear, that there is literally a million ways to approach every situation. But I constantly caught myself in that same... I play it the same way over and over. Hitman to me has got that same. Well, the new Hitman comes out like November, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that'll catch my interest a little more.
We'll see. And you get all of the contracts for free on Games Pass. So that's like, France, Italy, Colorado. I think there's 5 of them, and you get all of them. So might be a good time if you've never played it or you're interested in it and you got Xbox Game Pass. Go check it out, because that's what I'm doing. And I'm sure I'll jump back into another episode, see if I can test out the waters, see how I feel. But it's just too slow for my type of game style. That's the only issue.
It's almost like, we'll close on this. It's almost like a game can be too wide open at spots. And I don't mean like in an Assassin's Creed way where there's a million things on the map. I just mean there's a million different ways to approach it. And so it becomes kind of unmanageable almost. It's like I wish they would tighten that up a little bit. Because, dude, just reading through Hitman and reading through they always do like a funny sentence of how to, like, killing a guy with a fish. They'll call it, mackerel. I mean, they do something funny with how they do it, so they don't give it away, but you could maybe figure out what they meant by that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll make some crazy reference to one of the things within the level. But man, it would be that's a funny game that I wish I was more into than I am into. I don't know if you have any games like that, but I wish I liked it more than I do. And every time a new one comes out, I get totally jacked for it. I buy it, I play it, and then I'm like, oh, God, I'm right back in the same spot again.
I love it. Well, that has been topic number 1, catching up on what kind of games we've been playing. We've been playing a fair amount, but guess what? We're going to have a whole lot more games to play and a whole lot more to talk about here coming in the coming weeks, and that's what we're actually going to move into. Topic number 2, me and Tom are just going to talk about maybe our top 5 games coming out the remainder of the year and maybe early into next year. So, Tom, why don't you kick me off? Give me one game right now that you're super excited for, because I know that we're going to share a couple, so let's just talk about them.
Yeah, so do you want to start, like, I'll leave the top spot, because we probably have the same, like, couple there at the top spot. So I'll do I had a bunch of what I'm going to call, like, honorable mention ones. I'll just run through them really quick. It was amazing to go do the research for this, because there really are a lot of games coming out. I say all the time it's a great time to be a gamer. I don't know that there'll ever be a bad time to be a gamer going forward. As big as this industry is now, there's like it's almost impossible to keep up with all the release. There's so much getting released in this next 3 months. Like, the list is so overwhelming. I'm sure you no matter what kind of gamer you are, you'd find something. But here are the ones that didn't make my top 5. I'll just throw out some kind of honorable mention ones. We talked about Hitman. I think that's one I'm decidedly want to check out. The new Darksiders game, I don't know if you played 1 and 2. I actually liked both of those games quite a bit. I think you might like them. They're kind of up your alley a little bit. They're sort of the run and gun style. There's a lot of platforming kind of stuff, third person. I know you don't love first person games, so that could be a good one. Darksiders 3. I put Fallout 76 here. It doesn't make my top 5, which is, I can't believe I'm saying that about a Fallout game. They would always kind of be top 5 for me, but man, something about this game is yet to grab me, and I haven't seen it. I hope to play it a little bit at PAX, but something about it just isn't clicking yet, and I hope to be proven wrong. I hope this ends up at my top of the list once we see it.
I'm excited for this one, Tom. I can't wait to dive into multiplayer with Fallout. I mean, this is one of those games that I've always been, we love Fallout. I love the world. I love everything about it. But sometimes it does feel a little too lonely. Like, I feel like I want to share these stories with my friends. I want to run around the wasteland with each other. And so I'm personally really excited for Fallout 76, because I found in Fallout 3, it was great. Fallout New Vegas, I had an amazing time, my favorite one. And then Fallout 4, I just felt so alone. That was like, the world's so big and I don't have anybody to venture this with, and it's always all me all the time. And like, I'm talking to an AI guy, like, this is going to be so much more fun if it's you, me, and a couple others in a squad running amok around this place. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I believe this is a great idea for Fallout.
Your boy Codsworth is not going to get the love he deserves anymore. Your robot friend.
He's off the group now, man. Him, the giant mutant friend that I met up in Tahoe in New Vegas, right. He's out. Right. Yeah. I mean, the guy that was running the rebellion in Fallout 4, he's out. I mean, I'm bringing my own crew now, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, because, we've talked before on previous kind of podcasts about multiplayer can be a good thing and a bad thing. It can suck the immersion out of something when Slapnut69 comes up to you and just trolls you, right? On the flip side, if you play with the right people, it could be a blast, right? People who are kind of like-minded and want to approach things the same way you do and are not just trolling people and doing weird stuff. That's like, I think we talked about back in, right after E3, that they got a weird fine line to walk with that, right? Because that Fallout has part of the reason Fallout's so interesting is because it is a solo game, right? I mean, that's kind of what its pedigree has always been, is you're the only person in this nuclear wasteland, and so it comes with its own set of being alone, and putting more people in it could mess it up. But I'm with you, man. Look, that's some of my favorite games of all time. 3 and 4, both I've enjoyed the hell out of. So we'll see. This one is just I hope it's sneaky good. They haven't showed a lot of it. At least I haven't seen any Gamescom stuff. I'm sure they showed it at Gamescom. But I don't know much about it, which is probably a good thing. I don't think that they've really gone crazy showing, unless I've just missed all of it. They've been pretty quiet about most of it, right? Your great grand uncle Todd Howard has been sort of quiet. Shout out to Todd. Has been a little bit quiet. So that's a good one. Okay, I've also got the new Assassin's Creed game. I mean, I'm shocked it's not in my top 5 because generally Assassin's Creed games would be, but I've kind of got that right on the edge.
Man, it looks beautiful, Tom.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. I'm excited for it. I think this is one of my top 5 up in here. And I got to say, I love the Roman Greece aesthetic. I love that red, white, that vibrant green. I think those colors mix so well. I kind of got lost in the desert sand of Origins, you know what I mean? I think I kind of got a little bland. I like where they're taking this, and I don't know if you caught it, but they did announce there was an interview, whether it was at Gamescom or this week during Gamescom, they announced that this is going to end. They're not doing yearly back-to-back anymore. They're going to push this back another 2 years. You won't get another Assassin's Creed title next year. So it sounds like we're going to get the game, and then we're going to have a full year of DLC content, and then another game 2 years down the line. So this will make a break from we thought we might get them back-to-back again after Origins and this one. It sounds like they're going to slow it down again.
Good, they need to. I mean, you and I talked before about that would be kind of a little bit, what the right word is, disingenuous for them to be like, hey, we're going to take these breaks between them, and then they only did it for 1 year, and then they're right back into the same. Man, it's a tough problem, though, if you're a big publicly traded company like that, right? I mean, you got to sell stuff. You got to keep investors happy. You got to move units. And if you don't come out with a new game, you're not doing that. If you do come out with a new game, you've only really got, less than a year to kind of really work on it and change it up. And it's just a really difficult problem that I think these big companies have to try to figure out how to do that. I mean, I'll give you a great example. Like, I'm a Madden guy. My Madden is still sitting in its wrapper, and I've had it for however many weeks since it's been out, 2 or 3 weeks. And it infuriates me that I don't even care. Like, Madden used to be one of my all-time favorite games, and I know it's a little different in the sports genre, but it's the same principle, right? They come out every year, and they don't do enough to change them. So I do think Odyssey is going to be fun, though, just because Origins was such a different game. They changed it around. The combat wasn't full Batman Arkham style block counter, speed, but it was a huge improvement over the crazy, old Assassin's Creed, no hitbox style of fighting, which was just so long in the tooth by the time they retired it. So
totally, Tom. And I'm excited. I think, Origins, I could see Origins was so well received that we could have continued for a full another year of DLC. I don't know how long that audience will stay with you, but we're going to find out right now with Odyssey of here's your full game of the year. You know what I mean? We're going to play for a full year, and then you're going to get another year on top of that of DLC. How long does that audience stay with them? How great is this DLC content that comes out to keep you attracted to that? I don't know. I mean, like I say, I love the games and I'm excited for it. But when I picture myself 2 years from now or a year and a half from now, am I really going back to play DLC number 4 or 5, let's say, for an Assassin's Creed game? That will be the true question in the business model. But you hit the nail on the head. Ubisoft is coming out with so many games. Like, when you break down their catalog, we got The Division, we got Rainbow Six, we got plenty of games.
Honor.
We don't need to go
Skull and Bones.
Assassin's Creed every single year. You know what I mean? You can stretch these out a little bit.
I think they can, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? They make up the lost revenue of a title like that. The problem is those games, just on their title, the name alone, sell, they make the top 10 NPD no matter what, always, right? It's Assassin's Creed. They're always going to sell just a pile of those games. So, looking forward to that. The other ones I've got are, I don't know if you played Guacamelee. I'm a big Guacamelee drink box guy. So Guacamelee 2, that's coming up just in a really short amount of time. Love that game. That's a super fun game. Like, that's just a fun sit on an airplane and play kind of game. Smash didn't make my top 5. I'm not a huge Smash guy. People always rag on me for that. I don't know what about Smash that missed me somehow. Either friends that weren't playing, but somehow I never got there with Smash, so it didn't make my top 5.
I think it's going to be so big on Switch. I'm so excited for Smash. Smash for me, growing up with the N64, like we talked about, one of the biggest consoles in my life. Smash was one of the biggest games on that consoles, so it means a lot to me. But I haven't owned many Nintendo consoles from the GameCube, the Wii, into the Wii U, so I missed a giant generations of different Smash characters and all these gameplays. I think the last Smash I got was truly on the 3DS version, and I hated it. Yeah. Smash should not be on a handheld like the 3DS, where the buttons are too small, your thumbs start to hurt after trying to grip the controller. So to have it on the Switch where you're going to be able to play it out on the mobile, because I always play with my extra Pro controller, so it is technically, I would consider that docked mode no matter where you are, because I'm not playing it with my hands on it, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm excited to get it on the big TV or take it on the go and play it with my Pro controller. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. I think part of it for me too, and I don't know if you ever feel this way, is there's an intimidation fact. I mean, look, any multiplayer game that has rabid fan bases, communities. I mean, Fortnite's obviously this way now. Maybe not to that degree, because there's a lot of people playing Fortnite that aren't very good too. But I'm intimidated by Smash, if I'm being honest. There's just a lot to know. It's a tough game to just pick up and jump into. And I've tried it multiple times for multiple consoles, and it just always overwhelms me. It's always there's just a big learning curve with that game that unless you're really willing to kind of put in the time, getting your ass kicked is not always fun. It can be fun, but after a while, it's not a lot of fun. So, all right, what else did I have? I have, okay, let's go top 5, starting with number 5. My number 5 is Just Cause 4. I know you're a Just Cause guy. Love Just Cause. I know people are like, that game is so divisive for people that love it or hate it. Man, that game on last generation, Just Cause 3 was not even last generation, it was still on PS4. Love that game. It was one of my favorite games. Bought all the DLC. That was probably, I think, when I got, how PlayStation sends out at the end of the year your whole record, and I'm
yep.
Like you, I'm a little bit more of an Xbox guy than PlayStation guy. I'm probably a little closer to 50-50. That was my most played game. That was my most hours, was Just Cause 3. That's how much I like that game. What's your history with it?
I mean, I'm so excited for Just Cause 4. The dynamic weather that they're adding into this, I cannot wait for. They're touting blizzards, sandstorms, that killer tornado. I think this is going to be really cool to add into the game. And that pure destructibility standpoint of Just Cause is so much fun. It reminds me of like playing GTA, but just going absolutely almost like Saints Row, but not full Saints Row. It's like that happy medium of, it's got a little GTA reality to it. It's got the Saints Row madness, and you just kind of meet in the middle with those 2 tether grenades, and you're putting 2 cars together. So you got the airplane whipping sideways. I mean, I'm super excited to dive back into it.
Good, man. I think if they just built a little bit on what that game, the last one was, it'll be fantastically good. Like, they had just the right amount of collectibles in my mind. I was always trying to search. That map is enormous. I mean, that's still one of the biggest maps, I think, in any game I've played in Just Cause 3. I mean, The Witcher's 3 is pretty close. But you can get in a jet in that game, and I want to say it takes probably 15 minutes at full throttle to get across that map. Like, that is a big-ass map. So shout out to that game. I'm really looking forward to that. Number 4 for me, and this one I kind of debate on because I don't know what to expect yet, is Battlefield 5. Battlefield is the only other multiplayer game, I think I've talked about this before, that really ever kind of pulled me in. I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I've always been more of a single player up until this last kind of PUBG, Fortnite craze. But Battlefield was one that I always played. Not very good at it. I'm not by any means expert at it, but I just love the rock, paper, scissors nature of it with tanks and helicopters and just sort of the whole vibe of Conquest. Conquest is a fantastic game mode to me, to have to control points on a map and kind of how that works. The Battle Royale mode, I have no idea what to expect, and I hope I'm pleasantly surprised by it. But just another Battlefield game. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Oh, I can't wait, Tom. This is going to be great. I mean, Battlefield 1 was incredible. That was such a great time. Battlefield 4 in the modern setting was awesome. And like you said, this is actually one of the few shooters that I keep up with year after year on that multiplayer side. I've just lost I don't know if we'll call it the tenacity, the perseverance, or the quickness on Call of Duty over the years.
Yeah, me too.
So I know I'm not buying Call of Duty. And Battlefield is more of that happy medium of like that 40 on 40. It's conquest. You can do whatever. You can get in the plane. You can get in the car. You can get in the helicopter. And you feel like you're kind of having fun. And if you die, you just kind of go try something different, as opposed to Call of Duty where it's like run down the same line and get gunned down every time.
Every time.
But
yeah.
Speaking of those two are on my must-watch list because of the Battle Royale modes. I'm very excited. I actually have the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta on my Xbox. I got to play some of the multiplayer. We got Battle Royale coming out either this week or next week on the beta, so I'm very excited to get to check that out. They're actually going to have solos, duos, and quads is what they're calling squads.
Okay.
And to see both of their Battle Royales will be big for me, and I know you because we are into this genre a lot. Yeah. And to see two of the big heavy hitter titans in the video game world try to take a swing against Fortnite and PUBG, this is going to be incredible to watch, and I am really excited to get on the ground floor. I mean, you can bet your bottom dollar day one I will be loading into both of those lobbies, checking out their Battle Royales.
Dude, 100%. And I think, there's so many ways they could do it. And we were talking before we started recording about how's it going to look. Are they, Battlefield has always been known for class-based, right? Having a medic, having a sniper, having, sort of all the different roles that you would play. If they do that in a squad and make everybody be a different type of character, you couldn't just load 4 assault classes or 4 snipers, but you had to play that way, man, that would be super fascinating. So, for example, you couldn't carry health kits around. You couldn't pick them up on the battlefield. You have to have a medic who still needs to be alive for you to keep going. And if he gets killed, you're kind of out of options, right? It'll be fascinating to see. The other thing about Battle Royales that I don't often think about, and you never have this issue with Fortnite, Battle Royales only work when there's massive lobbies of people, right? If you don't have massive lobbies and you drop into a game and you die and you get back out, you're waiting for 98 other people that are also dead that need to get in a game. And again, the current games don't have that issue. But I kind of wonder with these other games, like if you went and played H1Z1 right now on PS4 as an example, are there lobbies that'll support you not waiting 20 minutes between games? Because the moment that happens, man, people are not going to play those games. So they have to get a big amount of people on them at any given time to do quick turnover games. You drop, you die, you get rebooted, and you're right in the next game. That's just a matter of numbers. That's all that is, right?
Well, you nailed it there, Tom, and there has been the discussion. We do know Call of Duty. We haven't heard much about Battlefield, but there's murmurs that both of these will actually be taken down from that 100 number to more of a 40 to 60 number. So you actually will see smaller lobby sizes, I believe, and I think you could double-check me on that one because I think that's what we're going to see. And I think the only benefit, let's say if this was Mike and Tom's Battle Royale game, that's the issue we would have. Similar to that game we talked about recently. What was that called? The Culling 2.
Yep.
That maxed out at 123 players with an average of 24, and they couldn't even start a game mode. Well, thankfully, this isn't the culling. We're talking about Call of Duty and Battlefield. We know that there's going to be an audience. People are going to come. It's just a question mark of, after 2 months or 3 months, how big is that fan base still there? Because we know Halo, Battlefield, and Call of Duty have a huge fan base at the beginning, huge participation rates. And then 3 months down the line, that has dwindled significantly. And these two, PUBG and Fortnite, have proven that they can't outlast that. They are still around rocking it out today. These two are big games. We'll see how long that 3-month period is.
We'll see, and what you don't want, and it's you can still play Battlefield 4. There's still big lobbies in that game, but again, there's smaller lobbies, and the game they're not Battle Royale. You can die and keep going, so you really only need a couple hundred people, and then you can play as much as you want. So anyway, super fascinating to see Battlefield 5. A big believer in what DICE and EA could do with this game if they do it right. They could. Again, no one's going to dethrone either of the two giants, especially not the giant in Fortnite. But, there could be a little bit of success there. All right, number 3 for me. Don't kill me, everybody. Spider-Man is my number 3. It's not higher than that. There's a few other ones a little bit ahead of that for me. Super looking forward to it, man. There's not much I can say that hasn't been said about Spider-Man. It is going to be fascinating for me. As I don't know, but I've tuned out Spider-Man now, on purpose. I'm not watching anything. The last one that I watched was a kind of funny one that they did. I think Andy did it with Greg. I'm refusing to listen to anything. I just want the game to come. I'm trying to stay away from it.
You know, Tom, I don't know where I'm at this moment, if I'm more excited for the game or just to receive my new Amazing Red Spider-Man Pro PS4 edition.
You did
We
it.
got one of those. Thanks to the Kind of Funny crew for helping me get that when I was on Kind of Funny Games Daily. But I will say, I am seriously... I think I might be more excited for the console than the game, but in retrospect, this game is going to be phenomenal. I wouldn't say I've gone blackout mode. I mean, I feel like you could watch all these trailers. We know what the gameplay is going to be.
Yep.
It's going to be a wide open world. Spidey's going to be able to web sling all around, fly all around, and then you're going to take on different bad boy villains. You're going to do small side quest missions. So I already know what's going to happen here. It's just, what's the presentation look like? What's the cool story mode? Does it keep me engaged? Are the side quests not just go fetch Aunt May's dog down the road and come back to me? Like, these are going to be the things that capture me. But I know, just like everybody probably has a smile on their face thinking about Spider-Man, when you talk about Spider-Man or any sort of Marvel properties, they have such a big place in your heart that this game could come out and be awful, and I still think you would probably love it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those.
I do, and I can't imagine with Insomniac's pedigree that it's going to be awful. And I think I think that's what excites me the most about it when I sort of think of the games that they've done, and because there's a few games to me that have really done, open world superhero the right way. Certainly Arkham series and what Rocksteady did comes to mind more than any other one for me by a mile, just because it kept my interest through however many hours you play it. And even after you long finish the game, you could play for another 100 hours just trying to find the Riddler challenges and all the stuff that they embedded into that world was, that's a game that I could literally play a little bit like The Last of Us. Like, every year I could go back to that game and I would enjoy it just as much because the combat is just so well done. Everything about it's well done. It's hard for me to think that Spider-Man's going to be at that level, but maybe it will be. I mean, that game's a long time ago. People have done those ideas and then some since Rocksteady did all the Arkham stuff, and Arkham City in particular is the one that comes to mind as far as just a big giant open world. And because of the freedom of flight that Batman had, it's probably really similar to flying around that Spider-Man's going to do. So again, two different developers. I'm not trying to compare the two, but just as far as a game style, that I could see it being fantastic. Man, we'll see. I have gone on blackout only because I want to be, just kind of surprised about everything, and I'm always nervous about those games. Finding out more than I wish I knew. Just I want to go in a little bit dark. So, man, that's 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away. It's like
we're right around the corner, September 7th. And somebody could tell me the whole story. I'm still going to love it.
No, I know.
I'm ready for it. Anybody could tell me. I know I'm going to love it. What else you got, Tom?
All right, last two. Here we go. And I'm sure these are on your list somewhere. Number 2 for me is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Still, that game style to me is like one of my favorites of all time. Crystal Dynamics has done such a good job with this game. Just everything about it to me is what I look for in a game. The size of it, the exploration, the upgrading, the finding stuff. Like, I'm a big kind of, find a bunch of Chotskis around the map kind of guy. Love this game, love everything about it. And I think that they're only going to build on that which has been there prior, and that which has been there prior has been stellar. There's no way this game can fail in my mind, kind of like you said about Spider-Man. To me, this is a no-brainer of a game that I'm going to love.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, to continue the Lara Croft saga in this new era has been so much fun. 1 and 2 have truly been phenomenal stories. Great gameplay. I love that they've gone from more of the linear missions to more of a open world, but it's still more of like it's pushing you in the direction you need to be. It's not GTA where you can just walk down the street and not see anything.
Right.
So, like, I'm excited to see what this one is because they're touting this is actually going to be even bigger than the hubs that they had in number 2. So I'm excited as can be. And take me down to that Mexican jungle. Let's release some sort of scary Mayan god and have some fun, Laura. I'm all about it.
Dude, and they pack so much into those hubs, right? I mean, and that was one of the few games. You mentioned all the games that have like sort of DLC or season passes, and they seem like they all do now. That I haven't really spent a lot of, even though I bought them, like Far Cry 5, I bought the season pass, haven't really played much with it. Fractured Butthole, I bought Season Pass, haven't played much DLC. But the last Tomb Raider I did, and I really stuck with it and saw all the stuff that they did through the DLC, which was really interesting. They had a lot of really cool modes, like a survival mode. I don't know if you ever checked that out, where you have to get back to a campfire every so often, and you're literally just surviving, trying to make it through the same or certain of the maps, certain of the hubs. This game is just Crystal's done such a great job polishing this game up, man. I'm incredibly excited for it. And then number one's probably everybody's number one is Red Dead. The more I see of this, and I love the way, and I don't want to be a Rockstar, slobber fanboy, but the way that they do their, everybody dissects their trailers just so much and spends so much time with it. I personally love the way they do their trailers because they don't really show you anything relative to the game itself. Like, you see these things that, that have a lot of weight to them. The story's going to be intense. The interaction of, there'll be 20 characters that, you have no idea what their relationships are going to be like. It's Rockstar. They're going to do amazing with that. But the little bit that I've seen of the game itself, which has been pretty limited, right? They haven't shown a lot of the mechanics and sort of how stuff works. At least I haven't seen it. If they have, I haven't spent a lot of time looking at it. I mean, it's Rockstar. And to think of a game, would you even want to guess how long this game's been in development? I mean, 5 years probably.
So long, it's right. So long. I mean, you can see the polish on all the trailers that you see. Oh. You know that this has been taken care of with some great tender love and care.
Any chance it pushes? Any chance at this point that it pushes?
Pushes what?
The date.
Oh, no, absolutely not. They're about to plant their flag and destroy this holiday season.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see it. And like you said, Tom, I'm very excited. And this is coming from somebody who was very salty and upset about Red Dead Redemption 1.
Really?
Remember, I told you that I messed that game up. I must have just skipped through the tutorial because I never used the fast travel system.
Oh,
so
that's
that
right.
meant I played that whole 40-hour experience where I traveled from one side of the map to the other on horseback all the time, and I got to points where I wanted to just die inside the world from traveling so long.
That's like a half hour to get from place to place.
Oh, it was heartbreaking, Tom, just to go see Becky Sue down the road who wanted me to kill a rattlesnake or something. It was heartbreaking. And so I'm very excited to jump into this one knowing that I'm not going to mess it up this time. I love that Wild West aesthetic, especially after watching Westworld. You're just going to be going 6 shooters all over the place, shooting at people. And I'm really excited. So I don't know if you saw it because it sounds like you're going kind of quiet. You haven't been keeping up with much, but they are doing more of an in-depth look at these game mechanics of Red Dead. So they've already come out with one. It's more about the story, the characters, the gang that you're with, and the world. Number 2, so that was about a 6-minute video. It was really
is it like
great looking.
And then there's an announcer taking.
Yes,
I have seen that. I did see that. Yes.
So that was incredible to talk about how the gang will react with you, how you do, and you don't have to you can do all this stuff and it will open up little things of better relationships, maybe a new mission, but you don't have to interact with the gang whatsoever. You can do whatever you want, they're explaining. And then this next one that's going to come out, it hasn't come out yet that I've seen, is all about the activities. The missions, the side missions, and hunting, and different activities you can do in the world. And this is what I'm looking for. I want to see those activities, and then I want to know how that's going to blend in with the open world online. Because we saw in GTA Online what that was truly capable of, what that looked like. Now put me in a room of 30 people in the Wild Wild West. What are we going to be doing? This is going to be a whole lot of fun to check out.
So here's one thing that you and I got to commit to one another to do, and it's one thing I always say about GTA Online that drives me crazy that I didn't, and I don't know what was going on in my life at that point, but for some reason I picked it up when it first started and then I immediately got away from it. And by the time I wanted to get back into GTA Online, it was so complicated that I don't even kind of know where to start in that game anymore. Just to even get a game going of any kind seems like this. You dropped into a world and I don't really understand. It's like, is there 16 people in it? Where's the other 2 million that are playing? How do I get in their game? Like that game, I never understood the multiplayer. And I know that's a ridiculous thing to say for an avid gamer, that I never really understood GTA Online that well, especially when they started introducing heists and all this other stuff to it. My commitment for Red Dead is I'm there, man. I'm not going to miss it. I'm there from the beginning. Do you know if online, that is, I'm talking about, do you know if they're doing a staggered launch of Red Dead Online like they did with GTA, where the game was out for 3 months first and then they didn't start online until later? Do you know if they said?
I have not heard any word of that at all, nor have I looked. But, it's funny you say that. It was amazing because I jumped on GTA Online the moment it came out, and it was amazing to watch how much it grew from the first day of so much connections issues, just trying to get in to create your own player, get past the first tutorial mission, and then go into the open world, to then, like you said, that first 2 or 3 months of like, what is happening? Where are my friends? How do we even play a game? What am I are we just driving around the world together? What are we doing?
Killing each other.
And then to now, X amount of years later, where it's like people know what they're doing. You can come in, you can play any game you want. You can just drive around with your buddies. They got DLC just for the online multiplayer. Whew, I can't wait to see what they do with Red Dead on this.
Can you imagine though? That's the thing I said about how long the game's been in development is the amount of stuff that they've done for, and in fact, I'm just pulling this out of thin air, but I would guess that the amount of DLC, the size of it, the quality of it, there's no game that's ever touched what GTA 5 has done, right? That game's been out, I have to look up what year it came out in because it was a long ass time ago, and they're still releasing DLC to this day. Like even 2 weeks ago, they came out with that new, whatever that, gangster.
The nightclub one,
the nightclub one, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's insane, and they're all different than one another. Each one of them is almost like a game in and of itself, right? That they're not just like little snippet BS stuff. Those are real full-fledged expansions. And the fact that, and no one's paying for that, by the way, which is crazy. But some of them you've had to pay for, I think, recently. But most of it has just been part of GTA Online, right? For them to have the type of resources to just do that, and now in parallel they're doing Red Dead. It's kind of like Naughty Dog. I don't think Rockstar could ever do anything half-ass. Like, there's just not a way for them to not be on volume 100 and be great. Like, that game is going to be just, that'll be a once in a 10-year type game, just like GTA was, is my feeling.
It will be interesting, Tom. You know what's coming into my mind when we're talking about Red Dead and we're talking about online is, what is going to be the capture rates? So what I'm thinking here is Grand Theft Auto Online proved to you that they could sell so much money in those add-on contents, from clothing to guns to cars is what I'm really thinking of, planes, whatever. Now on the flip side, here we are in the Wild Wild West. How much can you really capture from an audience selling different colored horses, let's say? It's not a different car, it's a horse.
Yeah.
So what my worry is like, man, am I really going to spend that much money as I did in GTA for all those cars on horses, carriages? Clearly the outfits aren't going to be cool, flashy t-shirts like the other game was. Like, this is going to be a little different. So I'm wondering what kind of those in-app purchases will look like, because Grand Theft Auto, that captured me, because maybe I'm just a modern guy of like, I liked the t-shirts, the basketball shorts, the clothes, the guns that you could make me buy and sell. What is the Wild West going to really look like? And does that capture me wanting to buy that extra stuff? And how long is the capture rate for it? If like we're playing team deathmatch, I would rather have an Uzi and an automatic rifle than a 6-shooter and, that bolt action gun. Like, what is this contrast going to look like? I'm really excited to see that, because GTA Online has proven that people love that. People will stick with it. Now we're going to the Wild Wild West. I personally feel like it's a whole different type gameplay here. That's
a really fascinating topic. I hadn't really thought about that, just because there's not as much. I say that. It could be stuff you and I just aren't thinking of, right? It is Rockstar. They do need to monetize their stuff, skins and otherwise. But that's a great friggin' topic. I can't think of what it would be, because there just doesn't seem like there's that much there. And maybe there'll be things that'll just, you and I are not even at all thinking of, that they'll be doing with, base building or homestead building and different wagons and things that totally change up the gameplay. I don't know, man, but whatever it is, there's been a lot of thought put into it. It's going to look amazing. It's going to be adult on top of it all, right? There's nothing that they do that I think is anything short of very nuanced storytelling, right? It's Rockstar, and I think we're gonna, dude, the zeitgeist around that game is gonna be like nothing else. That month after that game comes out is gonna be utter insanity of Red Dead. Everything you see in life is gonna be Red Dead based, which is all fine by me.
I can't wait, Tom. We're gonna find out, and that is definitely the biggest game coming around right now. So get ready.
So what else is in your top 5? Anything that I didn't mention there? What else you got?
You know, of course, Tom, I think you hit all the big ones. I'm going to just go with some honorable mentions that I feel like I'm excited for. On the Nintendo Switch, I am so excited to get a Pokemon game on my Nintendo Switch. We're going to get Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu Go. They're not the actual newest editions, but I feel like from what I've heard, it feels like it's going back to kind of that blue and yellow aesthetic. It's going to have some mixed matchings with Pokemon Go, the app, but that's what I want to hear. I want to go back to Pokemon Blue and Red. That's my childhood. That's what I'd like to see, and I'm actually baffled with a game that is so big, so well received across the whole world. Why are not all the older versions on the eShop right now? There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to buy blue, red, yellow, black, white, pearl, sapphire, whatever the heck the colors are right now. They could be making so much money if they just sold those on the eShop. So it'll be interesting to see if we get this Pokemon Go Eevee Pikachu, how much longer until we get those older versions booted up on the eShop? That's what I want to see.
That is fascinating because, man, the eShop is like, you know, if you would have asked me 9 months ago or a year ago what that could look like, I would have never predicted this. Like, it's every single week. There's 20 more things coming out, 30 more things, 40 more things. Like, that has probably become the most active ecosystem of... which is crazy that it went from nothing, literally nothing with the Wii U generation to this. And yeah, I never thought I'd be sick of seeing old things get ported and pushed out there, but they're kind of like, they should yeah, it's weird.
That's the big one you say. It's like, you're amazed at how much games are coming out, but that's not old games. Like,
right.
When you really look at it, it's like, they're not bringing the old libraries out to this yet. These are all just like new indie games, small developer games, big games. Like, none of this is like, hey, did you like X on your old Game Boy? Well, guess what? It's finally here, you know? Right. Like, none of these games are like that. So I'm excited to see when they open up the floodgates because I want to have Red and Blue on my Switch. I think this Pokemon Go Eevee and Pikachu will be exciting. You know, what side do you choose? Are you going to go with Eevee or are you going to go with Pikachu? You got to go with Pikachu because he's like the trademark logo, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I also ordered the Pokemon Ball. So I'm very excited to get the Pokeball from Amazon and in my room just start throwing it around the room and things. So can't wait for that additional buy.
Yeah.
Another one I got is Fire Pro Wrestling. Greg Miller and the Kind of Funny crew have been really promoting that. I think it looks fun. Not a big wrestling guy. The 2K series has taken wrestling to a whole nother level, but it almost seems like too intense to get into, and I think this is like a step down. It's more pixelated, fun type, smaller wrestling, so I think I'm excited for that. My final two, I'll continue with my sports. You know I'm excited for NBA 2K19 to come out. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be very exciting.
That's soon,
Whole lot of
right?
new upgrades to that. That's September 1st or 4th.
Yeah.
That's right around the corner, so can't wait for that. While we're speaking about this, you might even be able to catch the episode the day before, but the NBA 2K League inaugural season will have its championship series this Saturday. It's going to have Heat Check Gaming taking on the New York gaming team up there. And wow, pretty amazing to think that took off as an esport. Not massive, but year one with the NBA and 2K tag team together. Season 2 is going to be really big. They've added 2 more teams to make 21. So I'm excited for that. NHL Live or NHL 19, I'm buying NHL.
Really?
I want to play 3-on-3 NHL, similar to NBA 2K19, where like you would go to the park and play 3-on-3, 2-on-2, or the Pro-Am scene with 5-on-5. They're going to have NHL where you create a character and you're going to take it to the pond is what they call it. You'll play 3-on-3 games, 4-on-4, or you can play full-on team-up games, and I can't wait for that with NHL. I'm actually excited for that.
Dude, I used to love those games like way back in the day. Those were some of my favorite games, even though I was never like a big NHL actual fan. I mean, I would kind of follow it directionally. But man, those games are always so much fun. So much fun.
I can't wait. And my final one, it's not slated for this year, but it's slated sometime in 2019. Supermassive creator of Until Dawn has now announced the Dark Pictures Anthology series. It's going to be standalone horror games similar to Until Dawn. The first one is called The Man of Medan, and this is a must check out, folks. It was over there at Gamescom. They actually have 15 minutes of live gameplay of it. They got a 2-minute trailer that's a must watch. And if you liked Until Dawn, that scary game, guess what? You're going to get standalone games coming out from this group. And guess what, Tom? Best part about it, it's not trapped on PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's coming to Xbox and PC, all consoles. This is going to be incredible to watch. I'm excited for this.
And I just read a little piece of that when I saw the announcement at Gamescom. So are they all going to be different games or the same game with just different settings?
So there will not be, every single game will be its own standalone. So it will all probably be that similar style of like, you have 7 kids. All of them could survive. All of them could die by the choices you make. And I bet you will all be very similar gameplay style, you know what I mean? But it's going to be a whole new, essentially think of like a whole new movie series every single time. So
very cool.
This one is set. There's 5 divers going down into a World War II crashed sunken ship. They find some sort of scary horror thing, and then that leads to just crazy mayhem. Unlike Until Dawn, where it was 7 kids going up to a mountain chalet and getting crazy boozy.
Right.
So I'm excited to see, if that one's this, then where do we go with the third one? This will be great.
I also hope, dude, that sounds fantastic, and I loved Until Dawn. Like that was a game that I also the VR. It was funny. There's not a lot of VR stuff, and I was kind of looking to see what VR stuff was out there. And there's not a heck of a lot, but that was also one of my favorite VRs too. The Rush of Blood. Did you ever do that VR?
Oh, I did not. I have it on my PlayStation.
You should.
Might have to one day dust off that PSVR. It's not getting enough love anymore.
Not getting much at all. But that was a really fun one. So those are some good stuff.
Well, that's great, Tom. That's going to wrap up episode 9. It felt great to be back in with you, talking video games, our passions. No sports talk today, so, you sports junkies out there, we're sorry. And you gamers that don't like sports, guess what? You got your wish. No sports talk on this episode of Game Time. Tom Bock, tell everybody where they can find you.
Dude, find me Galunga on Twitter, and as I always say, playing games with you in the evening. Man, we got to get back into some streaming stuff. I know I've been sort of traveling, not there all the time, but man, I need to be squadding up with my boy SnowBikeMike. Let's make that happen.
I love it. And, of course, you can find me at SnowBikeMike on all my social media accounts. Check me out down at the local casinos. I'm hosting the Fame Game slot machine tournament this Saturday, and I can't wait, Tom. I love hosting the slot machine tournaments because I just start yelling, press that button until people break the machine.
Dude, I can't wait. So good at that stuff, man. One of these days, I'm coming to beautiful Lake Tahoe to see my boy do that. I can't wait.
There we go. And that's episode 9. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Have some fun. We'll be back next week. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what game you're eagerly awaiting for, or maybe what game you haven't played in a while that you want to get back to. We want to know. We want to engage with you. And thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting us. On behalf of Tom Bock and your boy SnowBikeMike, have a great one. Be safe, be kind, and be good to one another.
See you.